Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Footy Casuals. So, we're finally done with the Euros and the Copa America. It's been an interesting summer. I was excited, but after a while, I got kind of burnt out of so much football in such a short amount of time. And I don't know about you, Brian, but I'm a little burnt out, I guess, from too much football. So I'm okay with all this ending. What do you think?
I feel like at the beginning I was really enjoying it, but I feel like a lot of the burnt outness came from like the not so good matchups towards the end. Like I feel like if they were a little
England.
bit more exciting, it could have helped. But yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely felt a little burnt outness. Like a lot of the play towards the end was a little boring or controversial, so it kind of just sucked. But I mean, hey, if football's football. We gotta appreciate it. But at least now the leagues are gonna start up soon, so we get a little break and then right back to it.
that's what I'm excited for. That's what for sure I'm looking forward to.
But definitely looking forward to the little pause because now like we actually get to focus on like the transfers and everything going on,
Yep,
seeing how teams end up settling up.
yep, pretty much. But yeah. So we're gonna go over the Copa America final and the Euros final. So okay. So we're gonna start off with the Copa America because I feel like it's a little easier, faster,
Yeah,
more simpler to like break down and just talk over because it's gonna be pretty quick, honestly. Um, and yeah, so we're pretty much gonna do that, and then we're gonna swap over to Euros. But
all right.
yeah, uh, so starting off, I guess we'll start off in the order of how everything went. Obviously, the initial start and how it ended in the end with the game and all that. So first of all, I'm sure everybody knows about what happened in the final build up when it came to getting inside the stadium and all the crazy stuff that happened and people getting in without ticket and rushing in and people sneaking in through the freaking air ducts and stuff like that and people that
Yeah.
paid didn't even get in and all this stuff. I'm gonna start off by saying this. Where were these people when the 2022 Champions League final occurred? If you remember, Real Madrid versus Liverpool in France. I think it was in Paris. It was in Paris. The
Yeah.
same thing happened. Who are you gonna blame there? What are you gonna say? I'm not gonna say it's okay, but sometimes these things
Yeah.
happen, and it's not normal, but it can occur. So it's not an USA thing. 'Cause I know everybody's so quick to blame the US on
Yeah.
this and that. Like I'm not excusing it, 'cause I'm sure they could have had a hand in helping to prevent or like get things
Yeah.
situated, but they didn't.
Oversee.
Yeah, but even then it happens and it's happened. But I'm hearing a lot of people saying that this is all CONMEBOL, that this is nothing to do with the U.S. or the U.S. Soccer Federation because they're saying that CONMEBOL wanted to do it themselves. They wanted their people to do it and they didn't want the U.S. to get involved at all. So this is mostly all in part having to do with the CONMEBOL. Like I know people are saying like, oh, but the Miami PD and the Miami this like at that point when they were trying to get involved and trying to get everything like fixed and everything going underway, at that point it was already long. Like everything was just
It was too late.
yeah, it was way too late. Like it was the situation was far gone. Like there was no coming back from that at all. There's only so much they could have done really. Um, but yeah, but I remember before in previous I think it was like the last World Cup that was in South America, the 2014 World Cup. People were saying that CONMEBOL in general is just bad at organizing and just preparing for these events, and that they're known to be bad at this type of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't see. I know it's so easy for people to just blame the U.S. and like, oh well, they're supposed to host the World Cup in 2 years and this, and that. But all I'll say is that it may not be as big as a World Cup final, maybe, but they do host the Super Bowl every year, and you don't see
Yeah.
anything like this. And people are trying to make the excuse of saying like, "Oh, well, Super Bowl's more expensive than the Copa America final or the World Cup final." I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't stop people from that That's still
Yeah,
like it doesn't make people go out and try to force their way in. Like you didn't see
yeah,
people do that. Like even if it's expensive or not, you don't see people hoard and flock to the gates and trying to force their way in by causing a bunch of chaos and just slipping in. You don't see that. You know,
yeah. Finals a final. A championship's a championship. It's the same atmosphere all the time.
yeah, pretty much. So I just think it's all. I think it's dumb that people are blaming the U.S. on that, and I don't know. That's what I think. I don't see it going down any other way. Like we see it in other things. You know, like we see college championships, we see
Yeah,
finals. You know, like any American sport that we have over here. You don't see anything like this at all. Um, and yeah, I mean, regardless, the only people that we can truly 100% blame are the people. Because if you do not have a ticket, why are you showing up to this event trying to freaking bust your way in and get in? Like, I get it. I get it.
yeah,
Like, everybody wants to see it. Everybody wants to see a game this big, the magnitude. Of course, yes, we all can't afford it or be able to go, but the point is, why would you try and do all this if you know for a fact that you have no right being there at all? So
yeah,
you guys are part of the problem. Like I've heard of people pulling up outside the stadium and just like waiting and watching, but to try and force your way in when you have no ticket, I'm like, do you have like no shame? Are you dumb? It's like just pulling up to the grocery store, getting your cart full of groceries. And like, I don't have any money for this, but I'm just gonna walk out because why not?
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if it's a good analogy, but I
yeah,
don't even know. I think it's dumb, but the people also had a big part in this because what were they doing? I don't know. There's people. I feel bad for the people that paid a lot of money for tickets, room and board, and then to not even be able to get in. It's just ridiculous.
yeah.
It's so bad, but yeah,
And I think it's kind of like underseen how like much of the people's fault it is, because like you get it, a couple people, right? Like 10, 15 people getting in on acts or like pushing their way through, like getting in when they're not supposed to. You get it, right? You understand. It's a couple of
yeah,
people. Like yes, there's gonna be a couple of people who make dumb decisions and they try to do stuff. But the amount of people that were there trying to do that is it's like a bit that thing was planned. Like that thing is actually absurd how many people there was trying to get in that didn't have tickets. It's like they saw one person do it and everyone just magically appeared and it's like, oh okay, let me try now. And like, cause obviously again, like if you don't have tickets, why are you showing up to the game? Please make that make sense to me. Like the game is sold out. Everyone everyone bought the tickets because it's a final. It's not like one of these games where it's just like, oh, no one's gonna show up so you can be able to buy a ticket at a booth. Like, no, buddy, like it's a final. It's a Messi's in the final. Like everybody, don't get me wrong. I was like, yes, you may hate Messi or you may not, but like dude's gonna get the crowd sold out because it's him. Like the fact that he's there, let alone, is gonna get the crowd sold out. So like people that didn't have tickets shouldn't have showed up in the first place, and it's kind of their fault. Yes, it is like I guess you can say you can put easy to blame just because it happened in the U.S. But like you said, look at all these other sports events that have happened here in the U.S. Even like concerts and stuff.
yeah.
Never once has this happened. So like to quickly jump on the bandwagon is kind of crazy. And like you said, a lot of carnivals like past things didn't really work out and the way they organize stuff. So I mean, I feel like they should be put to blame very quickly, and I don't think they should host another one of these events again because
Well,
we
this
don't need
is
that happening again.
well, this is their tournament, so they kind of host it every time.
Mm,
All I gotta say is that they gotta hold themselves accountable. If they're the ones at fault, then they're the ones at fault. But they can't be out here shooting the blame at somebody else. Like, oh well we did in the U.S., so they're the blame. What are you gonna do when you go back to South America and you host it in like freaking Paraguay, and it happens again? Who are you gonna blame then?
Yeah,
Like it makes no sense. But yeah, like
yeah,
it's just dumb. But yeah,
yeah. I mean, I feel like after that, I feel like it did kind of. Hopefully, I mean, from what I saw, it looked like it calmed down a little bit after, and people were still able to enjoy the game. I I'm not sure if everybody was able to get in. Hopefully, they were, but I mean, the game did end up starting. There was no pushing that back to another day. There was never a chance of that happening. So yeah, that was the start of the game for you.
yeah, pretty much. So that was a hectic way to start it off. Like that's not what you
Yeah,
really would expect. From this. Like I didn't expect this from this. Like it always catches you off guard. You don't expect that to go down or happen, but yeah. But anyways, getting into the
That's right.
game.
To the game.
Yeah, to the game, man. Honestly, at this point, we could just go to the Euros. All right. Okay.
They announced
Uh,
the champions, the world champs, and I could say that because they are.
yeah. Honestly, yeah. Um. So I'm very disappointed. Like, I don't want to be like a hater, but like, I feel like I don't know, but I feel like Uruguay could have put up a better fight, man. So when I see something like this, I get kind of pissed off because I'm just like, you guys, all that momentum, all that drive, all that push to make it here just to collapse at the last moment. And I just don't even know what to say, man, because these guys, I'm not gonna say that they won't, but in 4 years from now, there's not gonna be no more hype, no more momentum again. Like when they
Yeah.
they were on a 27, 28 game win streak. That win streak is done, and who knows if they'll go on another one again. So the momentum's gone, the hype and the build up is gone. So they're gonna start all over from fresh. A lot of people they're not gonna have anymore for sure. It's gonna be a lot different squad,
Yeah.
and this was their time because I said it. Brazil is very weak right now, and so is Argentina. They're both a little weak. They don't look as good as they used to look, and this is anyone's chance to win it if they wanted to win it. And Colombia did not take advantage of it, and they just let me down, man, because they just didn't take their chances. They showed up, but they didn't show up. Um, and like you could tell for sure. Like I know it was back to back. It was like back and forth, like from side to
Yeah.
side of the pitch, and it was competitive, and it was a hard fought fight. It was good for a neutral fan to watch. I wasn't a neutral, obviously, but it was just difficult. And then then later on it went into extra time, and then I just think the goal that they conceded was so sorry. It was so trash. I'm like,
I
bro,
think it was the goalkeeper.
the goalkeeper's ass, man. And I was praising him too because he plays in the Mexican League and he's played in the Mexican League forever and he plays for a decent club. But bro, so trash, man. He threw so bad. I thought that was a stupid shot, a dumb goal that shouldn't have went in. That was savable 100%. But I knew it was over. The moment it hit that point, I said it was done because even if they go to pens, they're not gonna win on pens. Um, I just couldn't see it honestly.
Yeah, at that moment of the game, I feel like you were starting to see Colombia be a little drained. Like, not drained, but like you clearly started seeing that Argentina was looking to be like the clear person on the attack. They were the only ones kind of trying to make a push.
Yeah,
I feel like for me personally, it kind of felt like Colombia was kind of settling for penalties. Not really, but like I don't know. I feel like there was a
they
major
weren't
drop
fighting
off
that
in
much anymore.
yeah, I feel like there was a major drop off in the attack from what was the beginning of the game, and I feel like they missed some crucial chances, which kind of sucked because like there was a couple of chances where I actually thought they were gonna like. There was a couple of chances outside the box that I didn't even think like they had a chance with, but they were somewhat coming close. But I mean, I don't know. After I also saw that goal, at first I looked and I was like, dude, that was like a crazy goal. I was like, that was like a kind of screamer. But then they show the replay and you see that it clearly like the goalkeeper puts his hands up and it goes straight through his hands. I'm just like, dude, like you can't misjudge that. Like when it's that close, like there's no way you misjudge. I don't care how fast that thing is. If it's like he clearly put his hands up way before, so
Yeah,
like dude saw it, was able to react to it, but just hella misjudged it, and that's kind of like that's more of what was a letdown to me because I'd much rather yes Argentina won and I thought they were gonna win. Like I wanted Colombia to win, but like as even as a neutral watching the game, I much rather would have seen pens than see it get one on that. Like that was sad.
it was a trash
And
goal.
yeah, it was just like a depressing way for them to win after like the build up because you kind of started getting the feeling that it was gonna go to pens. You're like, oh wait, there's a chance. Like if it does go to pens, like I know you said they were never Argentina was
Yeah,
never losing that game, but I
no,
mean
yeah.
it's penalties. Like literally anything can happen. But
It's just tough for
yeah,
their goalie, but yeah.
and I feel one thing we should shine or we should shed the light on is that Argentina looked like a way better team after Messi got
I
hurt
was literally
than.
about to say that.
So I'll let you talk about that because I know you had brought it up, but I also noticed that when watching the game, and I mean I don't know, it's the age thing, man. Like at some point. We're just gonna have to accept it. Our stars that we kind of grew up with, they're not gonna be there with you forever, and at some point, you got to move on. Like, yes, he is like the literal like epitome of Argentina and like everything for them. But like, I don't know, like you got to start realizing that at some point it might be a time to make a switch or like put him into another role wherever he's just more of like a leader. But like in terms of play, they started playing a lot better when he didn't play. That's all I'm gonna say. And he did get out. For those of you who don't know, he got out with the injury. It looked like a nasty little ankle roll or something. Apparently, they're saying now it's like a little bit of ligament damage, so he'll be out for a while. But yeah, he did roll it up pretty bad. And then you could see there was visual. As soon as he kind of got hurt, you saw frustration. You could kind of see him crying because, like, I'm assuming kind of hurt pretty bad. And then later you see how swollen it is, and yeah, it kind of just makes sense. Which sucks because we get to see both our goats, Ronaldo and Messi, both crying for separate reasons at these tournaments. But it's just like, I don't know, man. That kind of sums it up. Like, I feel like we're at the end of their careers, and it's just unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about the statement, Brian. I feel like Maradona is the Argentine goat, but that's my opinion.
Not even close anymore.
Hey,
Not
he
even
won
close.
a World Cup when every nation had stacked teams. He cheated his way to victory. All right.
Dude was coked out.
That was in the later years, man. In his early years, he was him.
Watch
He
some
was a
replays.
Himothy.
Watch some replays of Maradona, and you'll see him jumping around all crazy. And I wonder why. Maybe because
That was towards the end, man. That was towards the end of his career,
All I'm
man.
gonna say is you talk to any Argentinian fan, and they'll tell you that Messi's their goat.
I feel like it's still kind of a toss up, but I
Yeah,
mean, Maradona was him, and he carried the nation on his shoulders. So
yeah,
it's gonna be hard for him to sway the old heads. But
yeah,
the new kids, all like the new like younger age group now. I'm not saying kids, but like people in
yeah.
their
But there's
twenties,
always gonna be
30s.
recency bias. There's
Oh
always gonna be
yeah,
recency.
I just meant because the people like their 20s, 30s, and younger
Yeah,
will be on all team, be on Messi. But the people that actually watch Maradona play will probably be like, I don't know. We can't. It's only so much we could talk on. We didn't watch these guys
yeah,
play, so it's tough. You know, it's
yeah,
not the same watching it through highlights,
yeah,
but yeah, no, I noticed that too. Like the moment he got subbed out, that Nico Gonzalez was like doing a lot. He was a problem, and I was like worried. Obviously, I wanted Colombia to win. I was like, bro, I was like, of course, man. Like the instant switch, the change, the dynamics, like the flow of the game just changed completely. And I was like, that's not what you want. Obviously, if you want Colombia to win, and I knew that that had been the case. He was doing a lot. He was having a pretty good game at that point with the moment he came on. And I
yeah.
know that Messi had a difficult tournament. I don't even know if he scored during this tournament, but I know he
I don't
was.
think.
Yeah, I don't think
Oh,
so.
he did once. He did once. He did one single
Okay.
time. The rebound off of Enzo.
Oh, that's right. Okay, but I know he was struggling all tournament long, pretty much.
Yeah,
And you could tell, like for sure, like it just. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. If obviously, he's older now, and things are different. Maybe like the schedule changed because he plays in the MLS now. And the MLS have a stupid schedule. I don't know why they do this, but
yeah,
I feel like as someone that lives in the States, I feel like they do it because they don't want to compete with the other sports leagues because the MLS is running when like the NBA and the NFL are
yeah,
kind of in hiatus, and the only thing that they compete with is baseball. That's it. Cause
yeah,
and even like they're just compete with baseball pretty much because I think hockey's
yeah.
also in hiatus. So my point is, I feel like they chose
Like a,
those months to avoid that because they know that Americans. I mean, it's true. Americans are not going to watch football. They don't like. They don't, I mean, they like American football, but they don't care for football, so they're not going to watch it.
yeah,
So if there's all the sports, let's say they do it like the way it is now, right? So August to May, right? No one's going to watch the games. No one's
yeah,
gonna watch these games at all, and they know it. So I feel like that has to be the only logical reason to have such a
yeah,
weird and dumb schedule. But I'm sure it's like taking a toll, kind of, or like it's a hard adjustment when you've been playing
yeah,
like your whole life. From August to May. That's when the season's going. To an extent, because Brazil also has a weird one
Yeah,
too. Brazil has a weird league
it's
system
all
too.
it's all marketing strategy based for them, but
That's my guess,
yeah,
but yeah. So maybe he's struggling with adapting to that. It's summertime. Normally, you'd be off. You'd be on vacation, not be playing the league. Not the league just
yeah,
started. But but yeah. So you could tell he wasn't doing that well, and he wasn't having the best of a game. But like I said, not to be as biased, but Lautaro. It says Lautaro Martinez the one time, because in the past he's been so trash for
yeah,
Argentina, and out of nowhere he just awoke. Like he just awoke from his slumber and started scoring goals.
yeah,
I'm like, all of a sudden the guy started scoring goals. I'm like, man, which makes no
yeah,
sense, but whatever. But yeah, he pretty much carried the team on his back, and they won the game. It's just a little frustrating because of the way they won it. Like I said, I just if they battled their way, like, and they like it was legit.
yeah,
They battled their way through the final, and it was like like a good fight, this and that, like cool and all, but it felt like a cakewalk, and I felt like it was kind of handed to them in a
yeah,
way. I feel like the only difficult games were Colombia and Ecuador, and that's
yeah,
about it. So I don't even know, man. But that's what frustrates me. Like if they fought through like the hard teams and the big
yeah.
teams, it would have been worth it. Like just saying like, but yeah, just saying that's my take on that. That's my take. But yes, Argentina have won it again.
I was gonna say, and I feel like we have to at this moment also give some props to some man you're not very fond of, but I think it's about time we give him his respect. Emiliano Martinez deserves his respect. Man has shown that he is, and I won't. I'm just gonna compare it just for the analogy of so people can understand what I'm saying. Not comparing them, not saying they're the same person, but I feel like Martinez is starting to be a little of an Ochoa role where whenever he's in a regular season, he's all right, nothing crazy. But once he gets to this international play, starts turning out to be this crazy goalkeeper that just can't get scored on. And I feel like if it wasn't for him, we easily could have seen Argentina go out literally game one of the knockouts. But I mean, I feel like he himself has kind of also carried Argentina. He's got them pretty far, and I feel like it's the second tournament now where he's kind of like showed it because he showed it in the World Cup that he's starting to be a really good goalkeeper for international play. So I mean, good for him and good for them because I mean, I feel like whenever you have a crazy good goalkeeper playing for you, like at that form for you in international play, you're kind of solid. That's kind of like what everybody really needs. And if you got that, you can be like as horrible as you want, and you'll still somehow find your way like very far either in the knockouts or like you can get yourself to the final like that. But yeah, so lucky for them, he kind of showed up again. I know not the most likable player because of how cocky he is, but I mean, it is what it is, man. Like at some point, you got to give the man his credit.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I am one of the people that is most critical about Zlatan because of his persona and who he is and that, but I never said he was a bad player. I've always said he's a good player. I just hate that the persona never drops. Like I get it.
Yeah,
Like I don't know if he's trying to act like a tough man or a hard guy. He's like, "Oh, I'm that guy," but at one point you gotta drop the act and just be like, all right,
yeah,
okay, cool. And that's why I can't stand Emiliano Martinez. And
yeah,
then if it wasn't for that whole Jew thing, we didn't talk about it, but I would be a little less inclined to not want to congratulate this man. But it just the fact that he did that stupid shit at the World Cup when he
yeah,
used the glove, he put the glove on his crotch, and Jude did that celebration. And he got 1 game suspension and he got fined. I'm like, I know that they're
yeah,
different footballing bodies. I know one's FIFA and the other one's UEFA, but I'm like,
yeah,
but does that? But that's if that's the case, that's sad. That means that FIFA gives no shits and UEFA gives plenty because they shown that
yeah.
they are not gonna let anything slide.
They don't mess around. Yeah, those dudes
Yeah,
literally
but
fight for everything.
I don't know, man. Like, I just feel like a lot of the crap that's been going on with Argentina in the last decade or so has stemmed from
Yeah,
like FIFA, and that's what has made this frustration and hatred grow because it's not even to do with just Messi or Messi versus Ronaldo or like Real Madrid versus Barcelona, but the obvious one-sided like favoritism that's shown. Like I remember
Yeah.
when they had Sepp Blatter. What I gotta say is Rip Bozo. I can't wait for them to find you caught up in that scam or that scheme that awarded Qatar the World Cup, and
Yeah.
you're gonna be in a cell behind bars soon, buddy. So Rip Bozo to you. But I remember the way he described both Messi and Ronaldo. He described Messi as like pretty much like like a sweet little boy, like a cute little kid, and then he described Ronaldo as like a soldier, like as a commander. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I was like, well, shit. I'm like, why? Like, I don't
Yeah.
even get why. It just that's the stuff that was pissing me off because it just shows obvious.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, I like this guy more. You know, this is my guy. But like, they made it apparent, and that's why I'm just like my hatred there grows. You know, it's because of the shit like this. You know, it's
Yeah, the
this
character is
shit.
definitely not likable. I mean, it's never gonna be likable. It's always gonna be one of those things where it's just like, why? But I mean, I'm just talking about strictly play for that tournament. I feel like he did it again, kind of.
Yeah, he
But
had
yeah,
a great
it
tournament for sure.
kind of just sucks, and I feel like that's why he doesn't get a lot of the respect he deserves because the way he acts, because he does act dumb, like which sucks. Because I feel like typically
He acts like a
sometimes
doofus.
yeah, I feel like typically these are the kind of players sometimes that I like. Like I've made it
Yeah, you
known
do.
in
Yeah.
the past, but he is not one of the ones I like. Unfortunately, like he's actually one of
uh,
the ones that I get behind. But it's just like it just sucks because I feel like I always see him have a good game, and I'm just like, man, I was like, if only like you were a normal person, it would be great.
if you weren't such a
But,
weirdo,
yeah, but yeah, I
man.
just wanted to give him his little props just
Nah,
because I feel
yeah.
like he kind of deserved it. But yeah, that was that game.
Nah,
Do you want to shift over to the Euros, or you got anything else
no,
to
no.
say about this game?
Before we do, it's true though. Honestly, if you think about it, can you name a goalkeeper, an Argentine goalkeeper, besides him in the last 10 years that suited up for Argentina?
Yeah, no clue.
I can name one. And well, actually, I can name two,
Yeah,
but that's about it.
yeah.
So Romero, who played for United,
Oh yeah, Romero. I
and
can't.
Gazaniga, I think, who
Yeah,
plays for I want to say Girona.
yeah. I don't know about him, but
He's Argentine. I'm pretty sure he's
yeah,
younger though. He plays for Girona. I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's played for them. But my point is, there's another guy I'm thinking like the top of my head too. I remember seeing his face. I'm telling you, some of these weird like players that you just remember that you come across.
yeah,
Um, but my point is they have some weird players, man. Like they've never had a good goalkeeper in net. All the goalkeepers they've had have been pretty much like bums, you
yeah,
know, or like no
yeah,
offense, or like not as good or as quality as this guy. So, you could tell the difference that a goalkeeper makes 100% because
yeah,
Argentine defenders are never in short supply that are solid. They've always had a good mixture of defenders. You know,
yeah,
I can name a lot of like defenders that they've had because it makes a difference. If your goalkeeper's trash, you're not gonna defend yourself. But so yeah, for sure, the goalkeeper makes a huge difference. And obviously that was the big piece that they needed, really. So
yeah,
yeah, so I'll give him props. He's good for the national team, but I still can't stand that guy.
yeah.
I just can't
Nah.
stand that guy.
And the Prem dude was not crazy, so that's why I said I feel like he's
Villa made the Champions League, so we gotta give him a little bit of
yeah,
credit.
yeah. But I was
He's not the
like I
same
feel
guy
like
though.
you
He's not the same guy.
yeah. There you go. That's kind of what I mean. I was like I feel like he's kind of like one of the main locks like for this Argentina team versus
Yeah,
like that field,
Ben
but
Aston Villa.
yeah.
Yeah, I get you. But yeah, no, that's true. But yeah, all right. We'll move on to the Euro Championship
Oh, did you want
between.
to talk about like the? I know you had said about the player of or the tournament for them and all
Oh,
that.
that's
Did you
right.
want to highlight that?
Yeah, we were both wrong. I forgot. I know that
Oh yeah,
I picked a bunch of Uruguay players because I expected them to get to the final.
yeah. So
Even
did I.
if Uruguay had won, I feel like Darwizzi would have been the guy, but he
Yeah,
choked when they needed him the most, so that didn't happen. Valverde did have a good tournament, so you can't say he
yeah.
didn't.
He did have a good
Yeah,
tournament.
it was just unfortunate that he had Darwizzi up front. And
I think I also went Darwin, and I feel like I went Brazil players. Which oh god
you
was that?
did. You went Vinny and Hendrick, I think.
Yeah, I think for one of them, I think for like goal scorer, I went like Vinny. No, not I went Endrick, and then I think for player of the tournament, I said like Vinny or something. But
Yeah, something like that.
yeah, and I had like I also had I think Darwin
Darwin,
for
yeah, you
like the
did.
actual top scorer.
Yeah.
But like yeah, I feel like it kind of sold that he didn't. And I mean, like, please tell me who would have thought that what's his face that James Rodriguez is gonna have like the resurgence of a lifetime. Like if
Yeah.
you're telling me that dude was gonna have the best performance like ever, like I don't even want to know because that dude
Lies.
the age did not show in that man.
Nope.
Like that dude was crazy. So I mean, if you predicted that, props to you. But I did not have that on
Nah.
my card. So
Nah, he doesn't even play for the team he plays for because I guess like all the people that support Botafogo they want him gone. I'm just like, man, you
yeah,
bums don't deserve a player like him, but whatever. Um, nah, that's what made it so hard that they lost. He had 4 man of the match trophies and then the
yeah,
golden ball, and I'm like, bro, I'm like, are you serious? I'm like, this was his one to win.
yo, that it was.
And they, man, they just all let him down, man. They just let him down. They didn't do anything, and it just went. It made me sad, man. I was like, he should have won that.
Yeah, no, it made me sad too, and I wanted them to win it for him. But I mean, I feel like at some point we were kind of just like it was inevitable, and we've seen it in the
Yeah,
past.
oh yeah.
Like we knew Argentina was winning this year, regard one
It's
way or
just
another, they're gonna win this
this
game.
team,
Yeah,
this tournament is sorry. That's what I'm gonna say.
yeah,
This tournament's
but
sorry, but yeah, no. Well, I mean, we got the goalkeeper right. I'm pretty sure Emiliano Martinez would have been the guy. James
yeah,
Rodriguez would have never guessed. And then, I mean, if you had told me that Lautaro Martinez was gonna score 5 goals, I would have said that you are on something. I'm
yep,
like, score 5 goals for Argentina? I'm like, yeah,
yeah,
I doubt that. That guy, he became at one point the like. No offense to Higuain, Higuain one of my favorite Argentine players. There's not a lot of Argentine players that I like, but Higuain and Di Maria are two of the guys that I like. Coincidence? I wonder why, but
yeah,
Higuain one of my favorite players when I started first paying attention closely because I used to be a fan. I've been a fan of Real Madrid since I was a kid, but I didn't start fully like watching and taking in and like being a true fan until like the 2012-13 season. All I remember that they had the gold kits and they still had Callejon on their team, but Higuain was my favorite player, and I was so sad that they let him go. So, but my point is, Higuain was that guy. No shade to Higuain, but he couldn't hit a barn door with Argentina.
yep,
With Argentina, he couldn't hit a barn door, and he cost them that 2014 World Cup. No offense, like I said, again, I love you, one of my favorite strikers for Madrid, one of my favorite Argentine players.
yeah,
But yeah, but at one point, Lautaro Martinez was the next coming of this man. At one point, but he redeemed himself this tournament,
yeah.
so props to him. But I would have never guessed that one ever, never.
Yeah, I mean, neither. I could have maybe seen the Julian Alvarez maybe over him,
Yeah.
but
Oh yeah, for
like,
sure.
no, I would have thought him. And if
Lautaro, nah.
anything, pretty sure everybody would have kind of, if we were gonna guess someone from Argentina, we probably would have guessed Messi.
Oh
Because I
yeah,
mean,
for
don't
sure.
yeah, we've seen it in the past. They go through him, they run it through him. So I mean, just sucks that he had a bad tournament. But I mean, yeah, no chance I was ever gonna guess him. So, but
Yeah,
props to him. I mean, shout
yeah,
out to
for
him. He had a
sure. No, yeah, for sure. But after seeing this performance, as a neutral fan, I'm more worried now because if they did all this damage without Messi, that means that they perfectly acclimated themselves for his departure. So no offense, but after watching this tournament, I'm gonna say that Messi held them back a little bit. No
same.
offense. No offense, because
Yeah,
I
I
can say
don't.
the same for Ronaldo in his tournament. I don't want any Messi fans to come at me. Like, I know this has nothing to do with Ronaldo, but I feel like they're going to come at me. But
I can even say I was like, I'm a Messi fan, and I agree
yeah,
with you. So
if
that
he
that
held
last
them back.
that last game should tell you it all. Because after he got hurt, you see the changes in play,
Different,
and it's
very
like,
different.
yeah,
They were more attacking, they were more threatening, they were more alive. So the moment this man's gone and they start building, this just shows you a team divided. Like, I know I keep bringing Real Madrid into this. They don't have a one guy to go to. They just build.
yeah,
They just build up the pitch and try to score. When you have a guy and you have to go through that guy every time, that's what diminishes your attack. So when you have an
yeah,
open team just trying to find the net, that's when you're the most strongest. And this Argentina's team without Messi is very strong because you have so
yeah.
many options on all sides and all angles. So this gonna be very scary and dangerous. So
Yeah,
The
it is.
moment he decides to take a step back, they're gonna be a lot more dangerous and they're gonna be a lot more attacking. I'm not gonna say that he's been holding him back this whole time, but as of right now, they're looking a lot more dangerous than they were before. So, but yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens. But yeah, but yeah, okay. So moving on to the Euro Championship between Spain and I was about to say Chelsea for some reason because I guess Chelsea's
Oh,
in the Euro final. I guess
it
I
sounds like it's
uh,
no surprise we're in a final as always,
I
but
was just thinking because of Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer.
cold ass dude, cold ass cold.
Versus England. So in fact it did not come home.
Yeah,
I
dude,
knew it
no.
wasn't gonna come home. Didn't know it go down to the semi. I mean the finals, but it did not come home. Um, so once again, it's funny, man. Like the people that dropped this reaction like after the match
Yeah,
had different things to say, but now that we are here and we know what has happened with Garrett Southgate, it's
yeah,
difficult now. So before we get into the game, I'm gonna say before he was gone, I thought it's bittersweet. They made it to two finals.
yeah,
They've gone very far with him at the helm, as opposed to other managers. Yes, it's
yeah.
very boring. Yes, it's very lame. But at the end of the day,
Well,
If we haven't learned from Serie A ball, as long as you win, it don't matter how entertaining the match
yeah,
was. So that's what they were getting. Results, results, results. It just didn't look pretty, but they didn't care. They didn't care at all. Um, so yeah. Well, at first I would have been like, it's tough because you don't know. They're gonna keep him until the World Cup for sure. But it was tough,
yeah,
obviously. Like, it's kind of hit or miss. Like the decision of him staying, obviously.
yeah,
But now that we know he stepped down, and I don't blame him honestly, because everybody constantly just hating on him. After what, you kind of just get tired, man. At the end of the day,
yeah.
we're all humans, man. I mean, we're people.
Of not being like, oh, this guy got fired. Like it's he himself decided to go. And if I'm not mistaken, I seen somebody say, it was an England fan that I guess he had promised that if he didn't win this Euros, that he would take a step down. And if this is true, like, I mean, shout out to him for keeping his word. Because I mean, a lot of people could have easily been like, you know what, like I made it to the final. Like, why would I choose to like leave this job? You know, like he
Yeah.
could have been he could have gone that route. I mean, from by the FA, it looked like he was gonna get another 2 years added on. So I
Yeah.
mean, like if that really happened, shout out to him because I mean he easily could have stayed that job. Sucks it didn't work out for him. I mean he did play a pretty ugly form of ball. Like it's not as entertaining as you would wish, but I mean, hey man, it works. It works. You kind of just gotta go with it. Just sucks it didn't really work out because I mean, whenever you play that kind of style of ugly ball and you don't win, it just looks bad for you because it's just like nor did we win nor did we look entertaining, and I mean you got to be one or the other. If you don't win, you best hope you have a very entertaining style of ball because that's the only
Yeah.
thing that's gonna be. So I mean it is what it is.
Yeah. But I mean, it's warranted because just look at this game, man. Like, this
Yeah,
guy did just not learn. This guy can't put his foot down and make his own decisions. I just want to know.
yeah,
I swear that this guy was on Twitter the whole time.
yup,
By the way, oh, before I mention this point, I'm just gonna mention how much I can't stand Twitter ever since it became X because you can't see good takes anymore from common footballing fans. If you ever see someone say the most outrageous, dumb shit you've ever seen, just check if they
yeah,
have a check mark, and if they do, that's why. And you
yeah,
just can't have a conversation anymore. You can't just have takes. You just like you can't like have a
yeah,
debate. It's just like bullshit just to get views, just to get money, and I'm tired of that shit, man. Like it's annoying at this point, and at this point they might as well be bots. So I can't
yeah,
stand football Twitter now. Ever since this new change, everybody's just freaking money hungry, just trying to do everything they can to,
yeah,
like arouse, like cause a row, like a what's it called though, like get a raise out of people. Just to get a reaction from them and all that stuff. But yeah, it's just annoying. My point is, it looks like this man was on Twitter because People, one thing I kept saying is people crying about how Phil Foden is the next coming of who knows
Yeah,
who, and he needs to play his position. He needs to play his position. They've been whining about it since the group stage, and they put him in his finally in his position. And what did he do? Nothing. Nothing. They accommodated him. Who knows why? He's not the first person I'd try
yeah,
to accommodate. They put him there. Who knows why? They put Jude out of position playing left wing. The man, I don't know if I think he played left mid a couple games or sometime for
yeah,
Dortmund. For Dortmund, he played Cam all season long for Real Madrid, and he had his greatest season yet. That may earn him a Ballon
yeah,
d'Or or at least a high top three nominee. But my point is that they did all that for Philly Foden for who knows what reason, and what happened? Nothing happened at all. What a
yeah,
surprise! Who would have thunk? We knew that nothing was gonna happen from it. And like, what can you say now? Like, people are still defending him. I'm just like, he was trash. This isn't the Premier
yeah,
League. This isn't Man City. This is England. This is international break. This is the Euros,
yeah,
and he played like trash. He was garbage. That's all I was gonna say. But he just couldn't adapt and change his formation. Like, if
yeah,
Kane was playing like trash, he just didn't have it in him to take him out. If Foden was playing like trash, he didn't have it in him to take him out. If, like, even like Bellingham, maybe he didn't have the best game. He didn't have it in him to take these players out because he just
yeah,
hoped that they would bail him out. And then later on, they score a goal. He's like, "Oh, good thing I didn't sub him out because then we would have lost." You know, like that game that
yeah,
Drew scored that draw like at the last second to keep it going. Like, he's like, "Man, I was gonna sub him out," and he tied us the game. You know, like,
yeah,
I don't know, man, but this guy just he can't think for himself. I'm like, that's the whole point of being the coach, like being the main guy. You
yeah,
need to make these calls, you need to make these decisions, and he just couldn't do it. So that's why I'm just like, that's what the frustrating part about him was in that manner. We saw, like, no offense, Kane is a great player, but Ollie
yeah,
Watkins and Ivan Toney had a much better tournament than he did, and they played like
yeah.
nothing. They were much better. They were much better players, and I still find it funny that they scapegoated Trent. I don't even think he did that bad of a performance. Don't get me wrong,
I don't either.
Kobe Mano
I
came in and
feel
he had a good game, but I feel like he didn't do anything bad.
I honestly think they could have put Trenton over what's his
Declan Rice
face?
or whatever.
No, not even Declan Rice over what's his face?
Kyle Walker, who was way
Yeah,
past
Kyle
it. That
Walker.
guy's
I
done,
feel
man.
like he could have got benched because that dude was having a shocker of a
I
tournament.
mean,
Like
he conceded that
amount
first
of time,
goal.
the amount of times that dude got beat was actually crazy. And like I won't like instantly shit on him because like yes he does play good in the league and everything, but like for this tournament itself, like nah, like dude was not it. So like the fact that he didn't have like the balls, I would say, to even bench him or put Trent in there. You don't want to put Trent there, then throw him in for Declan Rice because Declan Rice also had a shitty tournament. That dude was literally a ghost the whole time, and I feel like every time I seen him touch the ball, it was always a turnover. So like I don't know. Like I feel like that itself. But as soon as I saw the lineup, I knew what was going on. You saw Kane, you saw Foden, you knew it was going to be the same result. And I feel like the only reason he ended up benching them towards the late in the game was because he had no other option. Like if this was any other tournament, I don't think either of them get benched throughout the whole tournament. But I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like
for sure.
I feel like off of the backlash from last tournament and like now like everyone's literally like has you on the line like if you don't perform now like you're gone. So then the fact that like I guess he had so much hate you would call it and like so much backlash for the way he's playing, he was kind of forced to bench in and Foden towards the end of the games because I'm sure if it was really down to him he would have kept them in. But I feel like he had no other choice just because how it was going so quickly. Like they would get scored on so quickly that it's like, all right, like if we don't score now, like I'm gone. So it's like, let me just throw him out, you know? And I mean, I guess like if he would have wanted to keep his job, he should have just kept him from the start. But like you said, dude cannot make decisions for himself. So I mean, I feel like it's just better off for England. And I mean, it's kind of sad because going into that game, I actually had hope. I was like, you know what? I was like, Ollie Watkins just showed that he deserves to start that game. I had faith that he would be able to start the game. I had faith that they would somehow find a way to rotate Palmer in. If you're not going to stall Palmer, at least rotate him in very early. But I mean, no, they decided to kind of do it towards the end. But I mean, actually, no, Palmer came in pretty quickly. And he's the one that ended up kind of scoring. Well, quickly, as in terms of coming on as a sub, I
Yeah.
would say. Not like obviously didn't come in like the 15th minute or nothing like that. But like I'm saying as a sub, came in pretty quickly. But like, nah, man, like you kind of gotta see, and like how do you not how does it not click in your brain where it's just like you see these players constantly coming on as you put them on as subs, they score, put in a performance, you're like, all right, straight back to the bench. Like, nah, you don't deserve minutes. Like, dude, like give these dudes minutes, man, for the love of Christ. And hopefully they find a manager who can, because if they don't, oh my god. And I'm already scared seeing some of the names they're choosing. And I'm not even England plan. I've seen like some of the odds where like they have Potter as like their top two in the odds, and
No
I'm just like, oh
way.
god. Like you know who's
uh,
the third person of odds to win that job?
who? The third, like third.
Frank Lampard. Frank
No,
Lampard.
bro.
Bro,
Whoever
if
Lampard's agent is, I need that man to hit me up,
yep.
man.
Frank Lampard is over the odds of both Pochettino and Klopp. And Klopp, I understand, yes, because dude said he wants to take a break from football.
Yeah,
So I get the odds being a little high for him, you know. But the fact that Pochettino is not ahead of Frank Lampard and the odds is actually
I
getting
would have
crazy.
swapped that, man, but whatever.
Yes, and I'm not gonna rave saying Pochettino's like the best manager in the world, but like if I want to take a manager, I'm clearly taking Pochettino over Frank Lampard, and I'll tell you that for a fact. Like I already heard, and there's like a lot of rumblings that they want to go England based, and England based managers, there's not many of them like to choose from. So I mean, we'll see how that goes. But I mean, the fact that like I'm hearing these names early on is kind of scary because I mean, I can tell you now, I've seen Potter, I've seen Lampard both. And then I even seen Pochettino after, and I can tell you, like the fact that they're over Pochettino is actually kind of crazy. So I
Yeah,
mean, we'll see how that goes. But I mean, hopefully they find someone who can actually take them to perfection because they're not. I wouldn't say they're so far off from being like a true contender. Because I mean, they ultimately like they did only lose 2-1 to Spain, and that was with Harry Kane and Foden playing half the game. So like you're already playing like technically I would call it like two men down because dudes are garbage. So I mean, and you're playing that same old sorry park the bus, but
yeah,
yeah. So I wouldn't say they're too far off. Hopefully they get someone who can actually has a little bit of a vision. They have the needs to bench Kane and Foden. But I mean, yeah, this tournament itself should have told you that they should be done for the international team. I mean, Foden, I know they're gonna keep putting in an argument because of his age and stuff, and they're saying that he's still like this messiah
oh
of
my
a human.
god,
But
bro.
if it's me, dude's not playing again. Like coming on as a bench at most,
Yep.
coming on as a sub at most.
Swapping with
But,
Palmer. That's what I would do.
yeah.
But
And a lot of people
yeah.
need to stop disrespecting my goat. My goat is out here putting like I know people are saying he's like a one-hit wonder with this crazy season. Like, no, dude, this guy is the real deal, and I feel like he'll show it. He was showing it now because like any other player, you can kind of bring him on, and whenever you're in a rotation for so long, like you're always starting, to get come off the bench, it sucks, and it can put you in a slump because it's just like you're so used to playing. So like whenever you're just sitting on the bench the whole time and you come in for 10 minutes, like you don't look the same. But the fact that this dude was able to come in and score, like it should tell you all you need, man. Like, I don't know. I feel like every time he came in, the chances got created. Like the last goal he scored, yes, it was a little bit of a deflection, but that goal was a screamer. So I
Yeah.
don't know. Like, I don't think he deserves to be a sub. I think he deserves a starting spot in that team. And I feel like every championship team doesn't have quotation marks around this, all their best players in the starting lineup. So I feel like if you don't think he's the best player, he doesn't need to be the best player on the team. Like sometimes you need these other players that are still up and coming, like in these starting roles, because a lot of the times when you just see a star-studded team with like all their stars, they don't perform the way that they do. So I feel like England kind of needs to get that out of their head because they're going based off the names. Because I feel like they go based off the names they have on paper. Like they're like, all right, on paper, Foden is better, so Foden should get the starting spot. Like no, like these dudes need to like actually open their eyes and see who's playing, see who's in form. Because a lot of times that's what matters. Like what players are in form right now, that's what matters. But yeah,
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So, well, since you're talking about the whole Cole Palmer thing, I wasn't talking about the manager thing.
yeah, like how you said, cold Palmer,
I
he's
said
cold.
Cole.
I heard you say cold Palmer.
I think you're hearing
Nah,
things, but
I'm kidding.
um, um, no, but like it just was known. I'm like, it's not working. This many games forward, and it's still not working. Why aren't you making any changes? You're making the wrong changes. Like, what are you doing? It just didn't make any sense, and I just thought it was hilarious at the last game that they finally brought in Luke Shaw, and I was dead. I was like, they've been nursing this guy back. Like he was
Yeah.
like he was the main piece that they're missing. They're waiting on him to come back. Like if he was
Yeah.
like the main piece of this team, like the main person, like
Yeah.
your Ronaldo or Messi to the respective teams. I'm just like, no, dude, it's so dumb. I can't believe they didn't bring another left back in, and
Yeah.
it was just. I'm like, why? If anything, at that point, why would you play him? He's not match fit. He hasn't. He's not ready
Yeah.
for this. That I just think that was such a bad decision. But I mean, even then,
Yeah.
all the goals
I,
came from Walker's side. But you're saying?
I feel like even the sad thing is that like he shouldn't have even been playing because like
Nah.
they rushed
They
him
should
and
have brought
everything.
somebody else in
But
instead.
I feel like he put in a better shift than anybody who's on that side. So I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like that kind of speaks for their team like itself. Like I
Dynamic.
don't know.
Yeah. I
They
was just
need
meant it on
a
the
left back.
dynamic sense, but yeah.
Yeah, they need a left back back. Like, or if he's healthy, like bring somebody else. Like you, and let's stop with this playing everybody out of position. Can we play people in position, please? Can we just do that for the love of all that's holy? Like, come on, man. Like, I'm tired of seeing all this nonsense of like expecting players to perform the way they're going to. Yeah, just freaking throw in Jude at left back and hope he performs and gives you
Yeah.
like the crazy performance. Like, no, dude. Like, play him where he deserves to be played. You know where he is performing. So you yourself knowing that, why would you even play him elsewhere? Like, come on, man, get it together. Because it's bad, but
Yeah, exactly. And then the other thing you're talking about, like I said about Walker, both those goals came from his side,
yeah,
and he has been declining ever so slightly. So the fact that he didn't get benched is crazy. I feel like at this point they should have just brought, like I said, brought Trenton and had him take over that side. But there's just so many bad decisions that was taken. Like you could tell, like as soon as they made some changes or some subs, that things changed up. It made a big difference. But until they start doing that, they'll never learn. But the thing you're talking about, the management. But I feel
yeah,
like traditionally, what it looks good when you have a manager from your nation. But it's tough. But then again, sometimes I feel
yeah,
like you need to go away from that tradition. Like I'm not. I'm just assuming because most of the time you see, the French manager is French. The Portuguese
yeah,
managers, well, this manager is
yeah,
not Portuguese. The Spanish managers Spanish. The
yeah,
English managers English. It makes sense, but you've come to a point where you just need the best man in charge to win these games. Like
yeah,
it just needs to go out that window. You just need the best
yeah.
guy that'll lead you there, and that's what I'm hearing. That they want to wait a year and hope that
Okay.
they can get Pep. But I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know. I would see. I don't know. Who knows? Because I can't see. I don't know if he even cares for national football. But I was just saying maybe he's
well,
waiting on Spain. But I
yeah.
can't see Luis de la Fuente going anywhere anytime soon. So
Well, we'll know if they end up signing an interim, because surely if they are doing that, they'll sign an interim manager,
yeah,
like
yeah, very true.
meantime. Yeah, so we'll kind of get a good idea, but I mean, that's not even a guarantee either, because like you said, like you don't know if Pep's gonna even want that job. So it's just
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I'm sure he would like it, because like he's gonna know a lot of the players, but like still, like there's no guarantee that he's gonna want that mess, even though he's a great manager. But I mean, we'll see.
It's right up his
But
alley though. He's very good at inheriting teams that are fully stacked, and you don't need to build them up. He's
yeah,
very good at that. So maybe he'll do it. Maybe he'll do it. Spain, yeah.
I'm dead.
Spain, yeah. Like a Serbia, Slovakia, nope.
Yeah,
Yeah, no. So
yeah. But I feel like we have put too much of a focus on this sorry team, I'm gonna call them, for this tournament. And I feel like we should focus or we should put some focus on Spain, because they did it, and we all knew they were gonna do it. I feel like they obviously went through the hardest side of the table.
yep.
We knew that whoever kind of won from that. Well, I had a feeling whoever
Yeah,
won from
same
that
here.
France-Spain game, or even the Spain-Germany game,
Yeah.
I feel like whoever won that was kind of going to win the tournament. So, I mean, they were able to do it. They got through every hard team. They have such a great, like, amazing core of players now. Like, they got Yamal and they got Nico. who like they can that attack itself right there is going to be crazy for the years. And I mean, they kind of showed it again. Like these players are starting to look, both of them, I should say, they're starting to look like very unbothered by like the style of play. Like I feel like these players look so composed, and that's like one of the things that like you don't kind of normally see in some of these players. Like they kind of panic when they get the ball, but they're just so composed at such a young age that they're going to be scary for years to come. And I mean, they showed it again. Like the fact that they're able to like score, and because I'm pretty sure Nico scored, like I think it was the second one. I think I forget who scored the first,
The first one
but
was Nico Williams. The second one was
but
Oyarzabal.
yeah, the fact that he was able to score that first one like so calm and composed, like there was no chance that dude was
That
missing,
was
in the
such a
pass
nice
from
finish.
Yamal, dude. Like, oh my god, man, that's like beautiful to watch. And but yeah, like, and even then, like the fact that Oyar's a ball, I don't know how to say his
Yeah,
name, but the
Oyarzabal.
fact that that dude was able to score two later on, like it speaks volumes as to like how kind of well rounded this team is.
It was the
And I feel
same
like
goal, by the way. In case you,
yeah,
it was like the same thing.
yeah, it was. But that's kind of crazy. I feel like, in my opinion, where it's just like I don't know, man. Like I feel like they were at the beginning they did get a lot of hate because it's just like they weren't putting in a performance like they were before, like in the past years
Yeah.
past. They've always been a crazy stacked team, but like, hey, they've showed that they could be building a dynasty in the years to come if they get. Because don't get me wrong, yes, Morata, dude's good. Like, but he's not gonna be like your long term
Nah, he's
striker. So
already
like,
he's
if they
already over. He's already past
yeah,
that hill.
if they can get a striker to like complete that, it's gonna be scary.
That's what
They'll
I
be
was
building a
saying last
dynasty for a
time.
while. They will build it for a while, so
Yep.
it's gonna be a scary sight. And the fact, and I also shout out your boy Carvajal put in a
Yep.
crazy
He was
performance
that
for
guy.
Spain. So he once again did it again at right back. A lot of people they're starting to count him out because of his age, but I mean, can't do it when he keeps putting up these performances. So good for him. And once again, the boy Roger had an unlock. Unfortunately, dude got hurt like mid game. I think he like hyperextended his knee or something because whenever he got tackled, that's kind of what it looked like to me. But
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully, dude's good. But that dude will be there for a while too. So I mean, they got it locked for a while. And the manager, obviously, like with the great tactics and the way he has them playing, it's very good. So good for them. They definitely deserve it. And Danny Olmo, good to see him definitely like putting in his performance this tournament because dude looked good and he'll definitely get some calls
Ooh,
now.
one thing. Sorry to cut you off, but
Not going.
Pedri was slowing them down.
Yeah,
Danny Olmo was him. The moment they subbed in Danny Olmo against Germany, I knew it was over. Danny Olmo literally is the piece they needed. Just saying.
yeah.
Just saying, but go ahead.
No, but I was just saying, I was like, that dude's definitely going to be getting a lot of calls now after this tournament because he showed that he is him. But yeah, good,
Yep.
good. Oh, and also, how could I forget my boy Cucurella? Oh my God, how did that left side unlock? But don't want to gas him up too much because we've already seen all drunk, these drunk moments of him where he's kind of like saying that Holland's like not gonna be able to defend him. He's gonna be scared of seeing Cucurella. Like I don't want to see how that ends up in the Prem. But
Yeah.
good for him because he had a great tournament, and I mean,
That he
yeah.
did.
And I don't forget it. I forget who it was from England's. Who was it that was talking bad about him? I
Oh,
forget.
it was Gary Neville.
Yeah, Gary Neville. Dude said that he was the piece that like that was like holding him back and this and that, and like that he was the lone reason why they were gonna lose. And
Yeah.
he ended up like reposting that and like showing because I don't know if that's what like motivated this dude, but he looked like a whole different player for Spain. So good for him too.
Yeah, no, I'm sure he had a chip on his shoulder the whole tournament, but yeah, he had a great tournament. A lot of these guys really turned up and shined. Fabian Reese also had a good game. I mean, good game. He had
Yeah,
a good tournament. Obviously, like I know, like he's a little slept on because he's not like a stat guy. Like he's like a
yeah,
workhorse. He'll attack. He'll defend. He'll distribute. Kind of like Tony Cruz, kind of. But like you'll never see his impact on the stat sheet, but you see it, like
yeah,
on the pitch. So he's a great fundamental player. He's a big player for sure. But they had a great squad.
yeah.
They had a very good, solid team. I'm not surprised that they won this tournament at all. They're just from the very start of the tournament, they were looking very strong. So I'm not surprised at all. If it wasn't for the fact that I really wanted Tony Cruz to win, and
Yeah.
then maybe even get considered for the Ballon d'Or, I probably would have had Spain to win it. Even though, like I said, the whole Madrid Barca bias still pisses me off.
Yeah,
But and I still think they should have called. They should have called Lucas Vasquez over Jesus Navas. But whatever, you can't win every fight.
yeah,
But yeah, but I think you said it's so true though about the striker thing because Morata, he's in his 30s. He's already getting up
yeah,
there. Jose Perez is already. I'm pretty sure he's older and he's not that good. And then
yeah.
Jose Lu's 34. You know, so they really need some players up there. I know Oyarzabal can play as a striker, but he's a winger. He's not your traditional. He's not your traditional like striker. So they're gonna really need
And
that striker.
and the crazy thing is, I have an answer for this. Whenever my boy Mark Guiu
Oh
starts
my
shining
god.
for my team, oh my god, the call he's gonna get is gonna be crazy. So just you
Uh,
wait.
how's he gonna get minutes behind? How's he gonna get minutes behind Nkunku, Jackson, and Batty Ashile, right? Or no, or is he a center back?
That's center back.
Oh no, no. You have so many. Fofana. You have so many strikers up top,
Yeah.
man. I don't even know, but
I'm gonna be like all these delusional fans on Twitter. My star boy is gonna end up turning over this team. Nah, but they
no,
definitely
yeah.
do need it. Yeah, you know who's somebody that honestly I kind of wanted to see play
Who,
was Hoselu because I feel like he was actually doing pretty good,
bro?
like leading up to this tournament.
Yeah.
I kind of would have liked to see him get some minutes, but I mean, hey, they got it
Nah,
done. So I
yeah.
mean,
I mean.
they got it done. It is
It's
what it
so
is.
good.
But yeah,
Hoselu is your traditional like striker, like cross the ball into the big man and hope he gets a
yeah,
header or he like muscles his way into the box. So like,
yeah,
he's like a target man. So he was there, I think, in case they needed that. Like in
yeah,
case they played a game like where like it was like tight in the box and they needed somebody inside,
yeah,
you know, to kind of get in the way. And they never really faced any team like that, which is why I'm pretty sure why he didn't see any minutes, you know.
yeah,
But yeah, no,
yeah.
yeah,
But
it was kind of sad too. But at least he played some minutes. He played that third game of the group stage. At least it's better than not getting any
yeah,
minutes, you know. So, I'm sure he'll take it. So it's all good.
yeah,
Um,
but
but yeah, so that's pretty much. I know we didn't really mention much about the game, but to sum it up, England trash, Spain good. England throw, Spain no throw. So
I will sum it up very quickly.
go for it.
I'll sum it up very quickly. All right, Spain is going crazy. They score a goal. What does England need to do? They need to score a goal so they actually start playing like they're with their ego. They start panicking. They get a goal. Oh my gosh, it looks like England's gonna come back and they're gonna win. Oh wait, they start parking the bus. No, and then Spain goes, scores another goal, and it's over. That's it.
Yep,
That's your summary. Like, I know I said it very cartoonish, but like, I kid you
I
not,
did
that's
too.
literally how it went. Spain, they attacked. They started off very attacking. I feel like they were kind of no. Let me start again. They started off very boring. I feel like they were both feeling each other out. It kind of was like what we expected a final. You know, like in these finals, a lot of times like teams kind of just wait a little bit till somebody makes their first real attack. Then Spain started looking a little bit more attacking. We kind of started seeing them get a little scary. They ended up scoring. And then right after, you kind of see that's like England's like, oh, okay, like we need to score. Even then, after they started like looking, they still looked a little like confused. Like they looked a little bamboozled. I didn't feel that they were like actually turning up like they normally do because after they get scored on, it kind of like lights a little fire up on them. But it didn't this time. But then shortly after, Cole Palmer kind of scores. Then it gets the morale up, and for like a good 10 minutes. I feel like England had everything behind them. The fans were behind them. Everybody was behind them. Even I was like, oh my God, like England's actually going to win this game. Like it looked like everything was going their way for them to score again. But just when that happened, they started parking the bus. They sat back. It looked like they were content to go into extra time, go into penalties. So then after that happened, then England started, or not England, then Spain started stepping on the gas again. And then there quickly, they were able to get a lucky goal. I call it lucky because, I mean, like, I feel like if they were defending properly, this wouldn't have happened. But they got lucky on a nice little counter, which got Orizi, whatever his
Oh
name
yeah,
is,
there's the ball.
got him a goal. Yeah, then he got a goal pretty quickly, and then after that, it was just too late. It was simply literally too late. Like they had no time left, and like well, for the style of play that they were playing, they had
Yeah.
no time left. They had like 8 minutes, and there was like no chance they were gonna score in 8 minutes. So kind of just sucks for them. I mean, they did it to themselves because I easily could have seen them win this game. based off the fact that after they scored that goal, like Spain actually looked a little shocked and like you know how there's a momentum thing, right?
Oh yeah,
Spain
for
or
sure.
England had all the momentum after their game, but they let it go after they started parking the bus. So it is what it is. They did it to themselves. But yeah, that was the game. Wish it could have went to extra time because I feel like this actually would have been a game for the ages if it would have. But it is what it is. They deserved it. England didn't.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But yeah, like England pretty much shot themselves in the foot. I mean, if anything, I'm shocked they made it that far. But but yeah, pretty much. So.
Oh, and do you want to talk about the players of the tournament and all that?
Oh yes, I do because it leads to a topic that I am dying to talk about. So
Go
first of all, yeah. So I know mine were a stretch because I went with Real Madrid players. So Lunin played one game, got benched. They
ahead.
got grouped.
Yep.
Tony Cruz, they got out in the quarters, and again, made the mistake of saying that when Tony Cruz is the glue and he's a great player, but like I said, he's that role where he doesn't really show up on the stat sheet, and that makes a difference for these awards. Goal scorer, my boy Kylian the Turtle Mbappe, who is my favorite player of all
Yep.
time. Um,
Oh, word.
um, nah, but he didn't have the best tournament at all. I think he had a lot. I think he was thinking about his Real Madrid presentation a little too much.
I think dude actually deserved to be on the Euro's worst top 11 because that dude was shocking.
I mean, France
I knew it.
as a whole, man, was pretty bad.
I knew it from that one game. I forgot what game it was, but when he got a simple pass and skied it over the net, like, and he was
Oh,
like
that
wide
was
open.
the Netherlands game, I want to say.
Yeah, that game itself told me that it was not going to be this dude's tournament. So
Yeah.
I feel like from there I kind of knew, but I feel like I also had Mbappe as like top goal scorer. I think I had Jude as a player of the
Yeah, you
tournament, and
did.
I forget what goalkeeper I had.
I think it's a Kobo.
Oh yeah, I did say one dude didn't even play, which was
Nah.
the saddest
Yeah,
thing because
we
Summer was
we
not in
forgot
it.
about Summer. I'm sorry, but I forget Summer exists sometimes. The only time I
Yeah,
remember Summer exists is on FIFA.
and I
Um,
don't know why he's still playing. Why?
but yeah, no, Kobo was solid for Dortmund. So, but
Yeah,
Summer's always been him. So I'm not surprised that they're gonna give him the nod, over Kobo. But
yeah,
I'm sure soon he's gonna pass the torch along because he's already up in
yeah.
age. But yeah. I mean, it was gonna happen. I mean, you just never know what's gonna happen in these kind of things. But all I'm gonna say is this: I would have been more on board with Lamine Yamal winning Player of the Tournament than Rodri. There's a lot
Same.
of players that I would have had to win it over Rodri. It has nothing to do with my hatred towards Man City because I'll give flowers where flowers are due. Nico
Yeah,
Williams had such a great tournament. He should have been the
same.
player of the tournament. And
That's
then
why.
as secondary person, I think Yamal would have been a good shout. There's Dani Olmo. There's so many good players that they should have won it instead of this man. I don't know who rigged what or what did what, but there's no chance that Rodri should be the one that gets the player of the tournament at all. Carvajal was a better player than him, hands down, for sure, over him, 100%.
Yeah,
Unai Simon, who he barely conceded goals. My guy's playing with an injured wrist. He's gonna be out for months. He's gonna have a surgery and he's gonna be out for a while. My guy let in almost nothing. I can't remember him letting in more than one goal a game. So there's so many more better players on this page. Cucurella that deserves it over Rodri. I just think it's
yeah.
insane. And to make it worse, on top of that, they're saying that he is the favorite to win the Ballon d'Or, and I'm just like, are
Oh
you
yeah,
serious? I'm
yeah. I
like, the
saw
world
that.
has gone crazy. There is no chance in any world that this man should even sniff the podium, let alone any of that. I think he was overrated at Athletic. He's overrated at City just because of his patented like shot from outside the box that just cruises in that corner like just because of that. That's all he has. That's all he has in his arsenal. I don't see it, man. But I just think it's ridiculous. All I gotta say is it's got to be some agenda. Like I said, it's not always about Real Madrid, but I feel like this year since the top five was almost guaranteed to be a Real Madrid player because before the Euros it was like it was Vinny, Jude, Tony Cruz, Mbappe, I don't know who. Oh, I don't know who's fifth, but my point is like the fact that the top four was all Real Madrid players. Like we got to find a way to stop this. But it just makes no sense. Rodri to win that award made no sense, and for him to jump up so high from this, it was so dumb. It was dumb.
Yeah.
It just made no sense to me at all.
No, I agree with you. I feel like the player that I kind of expected to be the player of the tournament was either Yamal or Nico, like as well. I feel like, well, I don't know. I feel like either or, because I mean, like I can't take away. I feel like the person who I kind of thought was the player of the tournament more was Yamal, but because I feel like the age thing kind of just
Nah,
like a
I think that's
bias thing for me.
sorry.
I feel like that's kind of a thing that did it for me. But I mean, like thinking back on it, like Nico had like such a great tournament, he could have got it. But nah, like the fact that they actually had Rodri, because I've seen Rodri have a good performance. He's had better performances than this. So like the fact that he got it off of this itself is kind of sad. But I mean, yeah, I feel like at some point some things are just kind of like meant to be that way. So I feel like they wanted it to be this way, and that's the way they got it.
No, yeah, exactly. I don't know. I just feel like it doesn't make sense in that regard. You know, like I just can't see that him being in that consideration for it. If anything, I feel like they're like, okay, who can we put to win it that's not Madrid player esque? And like, oh, let's give it to Rodri. I feel like if anybody was gonna win it, that wasn't like Yamal or Nico Williams. That it should have been like Carvajal. I feel like Carvajal was a better player than him.
Yeah,
Just saying, like no bias aside. Even Cucurella more than that, but
yeah,
I feel like it was some bullshit reason to do it. Because have you ever heard of the young best player of the tournament? I've never heard of that. Is that new? I've
yeah.
never heard of that.
I think it has to be new because I've never heard of that
I
either.
was like, did they make that up so that they had to give it to Roger? I was like, oh no, like Jamal had the great season. He would win the best player, but then we can't give it to somebody else because if Jamal wins this trophy, he doesn't even sniff the top 10. But if we give somebody
Yeah,
that's decorated that wants something, maybe they'll crack the list. So well, let's just like the Lewandowski thing, you know, where they make an award for you, so that like or today's
yeah,
your it's just like I know conspiracy theory. I know conspiracy theorists, and I'm not a salty Madrid fan because trust me, all you Barca fans out there, trust me, I'm looking forward to the next 10 years. So I'm chilling.
yeah,
I'm not. I don't care about you. I'm not worried about you guys. But my point is that I just think it's so dumb that all these. That I don't know. It just makes no sense. No one in their mind, other than a City player, other than a Barca fan or a Madrid hater, thinks that Rodri should have been player of the tournament. No one else thinks that. You
yeah.
can't
No, I
tell
agree.
me otherwise.
I agree with you. But
Exactly.
hey, and then I believe Danny Olmo got like goal scorer of the tournament, right?
I think so. He
Yeah,
was
like
so, and he was playing off the bench. I couldn't believe that he was being benched for Pedri. I'm like, are you serious right now?
that one's deserved, but like I mean, I would never have had that on my bingo card either. So, but
No, I know that Danny
definitely,
Elmo was a good player, but I didn't expect him to ball out the way he did. Um, I just hope he doesn't end up at City, man. But we'll
yeah,
see. I don't know how much time he has. I think he has like a week or two before his clause is expired. So if any team doesn't jump on and try and buy him, he's gonna be way more. So if you don't take advantage and buy him before his clause is gone, then you're not gonna be able to get him for cheap.
yep,
Because he had a great tournament, so his price is gonna go up. But yeah,
yeah,
but yeah. So But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess you could say about that. But like, they'll lead to other conversations. Like, we don't want to sit here and bash or say a bunch of stuff for too long, you know. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much it that I could think of. You know, like we talked about the Euros, talked about the Copa. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, like transfer wise, club wise, news wise. We're gonna get into all that soon. Like, so soon we got to make a
yeah. We'll
yeah.
dedicate its own episode.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. We gotta make a like, cause I want to do it. I saw somebody do it. I don't know who did it. I'm sure most people do it. But I've seen people do like a super early, prediction, like a, Premier League prediction, like, cause that's one league that me and Brian both watch. Cause like obviously, I like La Liga, but me and Brian both equally invest our time in the EPL. But like
Premier
Yeah,
League.
the Premier League just as much. So that way it's a little more obvious and fair in the sense of
Yeah,
like what we got going on, like how we see it. But yeah, so we'll do that soon, and we'll start talking about some transfers because transfers are starting to slowly roll in, they're starting to trickle in.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So anything you want to say, Brian, before we end this one?
Nah, I think that's it. Kind of excited to get to something new because yes, although it is good to watch all these games, like at
Yes.
some point you kind of do get burnt out and you kind of do want a little something new. Like it's just there's always gonna want that need for a little bit something fresh. So definitely looking forward to like the starts of the new seasons and all these transfers that are gonna happen. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, you literally said it just perfectly. That was me. I literally got burnt after a while and tired, and then it didn't help that not all the games were as flashy or as exciting as you would expect. So I'm just like, I'm
yeah,
literally so bored of these games. Like toward the end, I wasn't even watching some of the Euro games because I'm like, I just can't be bothered, man. Most of these games have been so boring and lackluster. I just can't seem. I can't put myself through another game. But
yeah.
yeah. But yeah, that's it for this. This wraps it up, and officially, I would say this is the final episode of our season 1 for our podcast because after this wraps up the last tournament of the 23-24 season, and soon we got preseason, which is 24-25. So yeah, so thank you for any of you guys that watched, that listened, that tuned in during this first season. We're excited for season 2 and this next upcoming season and see how things go. Um, but yeah, thank you guys very much, and we'll hope to see you guys in the next one.
See you guys.